Welcome, sports fans. Welcome back to this That Sports TV, the place you guys come to get the best, most interesting, and everything sports topics, discussions, and debates on the internet. But before I get into this video, don't forget to like this one, leave a comment, subscribe to this That Sports TV, and do one more thing, and that's to share the video to at least 10 people. Get us 6 subscribers, because if each and every one of you guys can manage to do that, do you know how many subscribers that would get us by the end of the day? Once again, people, I am Rush, and I'm here to bring you guys another interesting video. It's just another let me say, think piece that I had. Obviously, recently I saw an article now about Coach Hallgrimsson, the former head coach of the Jamaica senior men's national team, and an article that was done in the Sun. Now, the Sun is actually a news outlet in Europe, and he said some things about the senior men's national team program. He said something about things about the federation, some things I think that were unfair, and some things where I think we can dissect and really highlight some of the problems that are a part of Jamaican football. So, I'm going to break up this video in a few parts. First, I'm going to dissect the article, and then I'm going to really give my thoughts on where I think the problem started, what actually caused him to leave. Because I think there's one situation where I think actually driving nail in the coffin and make Hallgrimsson say, I'm done with this. So I'm actually going to talk about that. And I'm just going to bring up a few things where I think Coach Hallgrimsson's words are match up. Where he got frustrated, but at the end of the day when he came in, quite quickly he found out that, we needed more work than he thought. So let's get right into it. I'm going to bring up the article, then I'm going to highlight some of the things where Coach Hallgrimsson did a speak directly about the Jamaica men's national team and about the JFF and why exactly he left. And then, as the video go on, I'm going to bring up some other things. So, I'm going to share my screen real quick. So, this is the article, right? And credit to Sportsmax. They did an article on the original article where they, gave credit to the Sun. Alright, so the first thing that Coach Hallgrimsson said in this article that got my attention was that eventually I didn't see myself being able to continue for another 2 years in this working environment. That's exactly what he said in the Sun. Now, what exactly did I go on in the environment? Obviously, we don't know a lot, but from what come out, we can tell, say, this is one of the things, this is one of the things, this is one of the things that caused him to say, me can't work in that environment anymore. As we go along in the article, he said, the Ireland job is a professional environment, and the setting is top-notch. That's the biggest reason why I took on the job. Everyone who works around the national team is professional to the core. People never see the word professional coming up a lot. That was one of the main gripes with Coach Hallgrimsson and Jamaica. The professionalism in the country and the professionalism in our football. And them keep on mentioning that. Right? In Jamaica, I was more in a teaching role. We were trying to change quite a lot, both in the work environment and within the union. How can the head coach be trying to change things within the union? That already just a fly off a bag of warning signals in my head. I don't think the role of a head coach is to reform the JFF. The role of Hallgrimsson was to win matches. You're in charge of picking the squad and winning games. Obviously, you contribute, more to the development of football, and obviously you've been in professional settings. You want to get us to that professional level, so you give your input to the executive branch of the JFF, and you tell them your ideas and whatever, and they try to implement it if it makes sense. But it's not up to the coach for coming and say, I am trying to make changes within the union. That's just a red flag to me, and that just tell us how sorry and poor our JFF is, and how badly it is being run at the moment. The coach can't come in and say, he want changing. You will never hear Pochettino going in America FA and say, there are some things that need to be changed here, and blah blah blah. No, bro, you're out there like a child space, big man. You get me? I say that's what it's about. You're not gonna hear Thomas Tuchel now in England say, there are some things that need to be changed in the federation or in the FA. It's not going to happen, people. So already he came in and realized that this look a little bit too big for me, but me gonna get a shot anyways. Alright, he also said, and we criticized the way that some things were done, again speaking about the union, which is the JFF. Many employees were unhappy in their jobs. I was very clear to the staff around the team that if they were not happy, they always had the choice to quit and find another environment to work in. People, that just tell me so much. Again, the unprofessionalism is the main thing, but there were also some things, and if me forget, me thinking about the corruption, me thinking about people having their hands in too many things outside of their portfolio, stuff like that. Alright, another thing he said is that I then realized that there were certain things that I could not change, or that it would take a very long time to change. Again, people, why is it the role of the head coach to come into the JFF or come into the Jamaica Senior Men's National Team program and try to change the federation and how they do things? That is not supposed to happen. So already you know that we're in a bad ship. Then I was actually faced with the same choice as the staff who were not happy. So imagine this man did tell team staff, say, if you're not happy, quit and find a new job. And then eventually him realize that him a become unhappy. Now again, people, may I play some video, may I play some press conferences and some excerpts from his press conferences and highlight some things that he was saying in those press conferences that maybe I said them to match up with some of these words, and maybe I say, oh, he was hinting at some things, but we'll get to that. Alright. And then the rest of this is not important, but he was basically saying while he had the Jamaican job, he was being linked for other positions. That's all that come down to. Other people were reaching out to him to join, their federation, to coach their team. Iceland was one of those teams, but he mentioned, say, oh, him never take the Icelandic job until after him leave Jamaica. Him actually never even entertain, any offers until after him leave Jamaica. Personally, I don't believe it. I think he had his next job lined up at least weeks in advance before actually resigning from Jamaica. He knew that the Copa America was his final competition. He knew that. His staff knew that. And obviously him breaking the news to the JFF was just a formality. They couldn't have done anything to keep him. I honestly think he had his next job lined up before he even quit the Jamaican job. So that's that, people. So the first video I'm going to play, I remember Hallgrímsson speak about wanting to change things, blah 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 blah. The first video I go mention is what I deem to be the beginning of the end for Coach Hallgrímsson. I believe that this press conference that he did was the beginning of the end, and because he said these things on record, because he put these things out in the public, that was eventually what caused, a couple months down the line, him to become unhappy. I think this is the situation. This is, as I said, the situation that caused him to leave. People honestly believe that. Obviously, there's nothing there's nothing concrete to say that this is the exact situation, because he will never say. But honestly, I believe that this was the biggest thing that he had to deal with, where so many people had their opinions in it. The media was killing him, the media was killing the player, the media was killing the JFF, and everything was just all over the place. I believe that because of this press conference, this was the first bad move that Hallgrímsson made. And I remember Joe Mara and I had a conversation about this press conference, where Joe Mara says, sometime, bro, just lie to the media. Don't come and tell you everything about the players. Don't come and tell you every bad thing about your camp, whatever. And I'm saying, I respect the honesty. Obviously, he said a little bit too much, but now I kill him for what I'm saying. But eventually it proved that because of that press conference, it set off a rolling fire. And let's get right into the press conference.
And then Leon Bailey and Trevante Stewart both not selected for this camp because of disciplinary reasons. Maybe just to finish on that one, because I know there will be, if we don't explain, there will be a lot of questions. Just to avoid a lot of questions, we basically have a lot of agreements between the staff and the coaches and the players, but we have only one rule: don't leave the hotel after 10 p.m. And these players didn't even sleep at the hotel, missed the bus next morning. We've kind of finished this. Both the players took responsibility of their actions. They apologized to us and the squad, and the apology is accepted. We all do mistakes in our lives, even the best. And for all of us, case is closed and we move on. I really would like to have presented this in another way, but because of the leak, we just rip the band-aid and say things as they are. There's an old Arab proverb that says it's better to have 1,000 enemies outside the tent than to have one inside of it.
All right. So that is the press conference that I'm talking about. That is what I deem to be the reason that started Hallgrímsson leaving Jamaica. That was what I deem to be the reason why Hallgrímsson left Jamaica. That press conference was the beginning of the end. Because he did that press conference, it eventually led to him leaving the Jamaican job. I honestly believe that. No. Liam Bailey was suspended. He mentioned that they broke curfew. Liam Bailey was suspended. Trevante Stewart was suspended. And people, what is going on with Trevante Stewart? I even do an update for him, because from the suspension too, him clearly not get back in the squad. Them clearly not try mend fences there. But anyways, he mentioned that the players broke curfew and were suspended from call up and blah 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 blah. No, that on the face of it looked like not big of a deal. On the face of it, that looked like, oh, players misbehave, players must be suspended, blah 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 blah. We are saying, you okay on the first time, him now go just come out after the first time, blah 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 blah. No. Later down, we got to find out that the situation wasn't as clear cut as Coach Hallgrímsson made it out to be. It was actually the player mostly couldn't get in a room at the hotel at the time. He wanted to upgrade his room. He went home, told them that he was going home, ended up being late for the bus at Pegasus, tried to make it to the airport, traffic catching, blah 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 blah. So that was the situation. The coach then suspended the player. Based on that, the player said, alright, you suspend me. I didn't want to take a break from the national team anyways. So here, me I take a break. No, because the player said that he was taking a break, I think the JFF and the coach didn't want that to come out before they said that they were suspending him. So they came out and say, oh, we are suspending Liam Bailey. Liam Bailey, after that press conference, went and did an interview on a popular podcast, let's be honest, with Jeffrey, and spill the entire beats. They get me, I said everything or exactly what happened. The coach that calling him phone for come play up to weeks before the window. So how come now me suspended, blah 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 blah. Because of that now, showing up the JFF, showing up the coach, Liam Bailey speaking out a turn and highlighting some of the other things in the JFF that he's not pleased with, and just use the opportunity to just dump on the JFF. That put the coach in a bad position, that put the player in a bad position, that also put the federation in a bad position. Now we are returning to that. Don't follow me, people. See where I'm going with this. The second part of that press conference, the coach said it's better to have enemies outside of 100 enemies outside of the tent than to have one inside. So he's suspecting that somebody want to leak that information to the press. Because before, obviously, I cut up the video and make sure I only put the important parts in. But he's suspecting that. Well, he's not suspecting. He knows that somebody leaked the information to the press. Maybe it's a player, maybe it's a administrative person, maybe it's somebody higher up, maybe I don't know how it leaked. But he's suspecting that there's somebody in the camp that is not necessarily 100% on board, because he's always pushed that let's keep our problems in-house, let's not bring it to the media. But at the end of the day, coach, you didn't have to come and say all that. You could have let it ride out in the media. Never have to come and beat the player them or pile on. Yes, them already apologize. It is not then your responsibility to come and bring up something that we didn't ask. Even though maybe people did ask, but allow them to ask and then answer. You see me? But just I mentioned the fact that the coach is suspecting that somebody in the camp now pulling in the same direction as everybody else. And so I believe that because of this situation where Liam Bailey was suspended, Liam Bailey come out and dump on the JFF and dump on the coach and say, you need a call me for come play, blah 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 blah. It led to the coach being unhappy. Remember, this situation started in March and the coach left after the Copa America in July. That's just a couple months, people. You get me saying? And I believe that situation there. Because up until this point, the coach seemed okay. There were no hints that the coach was unhappy. There were no hints that the coach wanted to leave. The only thing that we heard was that the coach wanted a raise. I think we hear say, yo, in bills now get paid or in internet or blah 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 blah. But them think they're logistical issues that can be sorted out. In terms of on the field and football and not getting the results that you want and dealing with the federation in terms of the actual football and the players. This was the first situation and the biggest situation. Remember, Liam Bailey is a world star and this situation made it all the way to Europe. It made it onto Sky Sports. You see me? And so I think this led to him being unhappy. Right? And me I go revisit the situation. But I just wanted to give you guys some context in terms of me saying what ultimately led to him leaving the Jamaican job. Now, I'm going to walk it back a little bit and I'm going to bring up when Coach Hallgrímsson just got the job and the things that he was saying, because in the article a while ago he mentioned the unprofessionalism, he mentioned trying to change some things. So in my head, it then sparked an idea and caused me to ask a question. When you were taking on the job, the Jamaican job, did you think that you were getting a first class situation? Did you think our federation was well run? Didn't you look at how they dealt with Paula and Paula begging for his money? Didn't you look at how they dealt with Coach Theodore Tapper Whitmore? You get me? I said, didn't you look at the media and see how the people were speaking about the Jamaican national team and the federation? Didn't you see that we were in debt? Didn't you know all of these things? Didn't you look at the scope of Jamaican football, the local league that you wanted to improve, the pool that you wanted to generate? Didn't you see that the pool was almost non-existent? You know, when you walked into this situation, didn't you know that you were dealing with a shitstorm, for lack of a better word? Didn't you know that? Because in the article, this man mentioned the unprofessionalism, and somehow it just seemed like Coach Hallgrímsson at the moment, maybe he's a little bit bitter, maybe he's over it, I don't know. But he seems to be taking a little bit too many jabs at the JFF for me. No, as we say, because of the article and bringing up professionalism, it lead me for asking questions. So I'm going to go back to some of my press conferences and see some of the things that he was saying about the Jamaican job. How excited was he, and if he knew that the job would have been this hard. Alright, give me 1 second, I'm gonna bring up this real quick. Alright, let's go.
So when I was looking for projects to coach the next time, I was really selective. It was not about the money, it was about the project. And for me, it was a perfect match to come now to Jamaica and to try to fix what is broken. I know is some obstacles we have to cross, and we have to improve some big things. But for me, it was a perfect match. I see so much potential here, and if I compare this one to the Icelandic project, I think the potential is much more here than it was in Iceland. So really looking forward to start, have my ideas how to be successful internationally. But of course, I have to adapt to the culture here, and these will be my first one to try to learn as much as possible.
But it's a lot of things we need to improve. Not only the infrastructure here in Jamaica, but all the setup and things. And if we really do what we say or say what we do, if we want to become one of the best national teams in the world, we need to do similar things, at least get close to what the best teams are doing. So, but we need to upgrade in so many areas here, but hopefully slowly we will get there.
Yeah, in time.
But it's difficult. Everything is about budget and stuff. So but we try to do the best of what we have. So so that was the most shocking thing when I came, was kind of how much improvement is needed here to be the same level as what I'm used to, for example, in Iceland.
So when I was looking for projects to coach the next time, I was really selective. It was not about the money, it was about the project. And for me, it was a perfect match to come now.
Alright, so the first thing he says is that it wasn't about the money, it was about the project. So coach, it wasn't because you never make 10 million US dollar. It wasn't because Jamaica never have the millions and billions to give you. Something else led to you being unhappy. You know, obviously, after he left, we heard some things coming out from reputable sources that all the coaches that asked for more money because he make it to he win a third place medal in the Nations League and he make it to the Gold Cup semi-finals and blah 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 blah. The coach is making it clear in his first press conference. Remember, nobody never said this for me now. Him said this is not about the money. It's not about how much money me I make. It's about the project. And at that point, you'll believe that the project was going good. You win a third place medal. In the Gold Cup, you were one of the four best teams to make it to the semi-finals. So how then do we leave from a point of it not being about the money to at the end people are talking about, you know, your Wi-Fi not being able to be paid and all the coaches want a raise and the JFF never done a game. I don't know. A little bit of disconnect there for me, but let's move on.
To Jamaica to try to fix what is broken. I know is some obstacles we have to cross, and we have to improve some big things. But for me, it was a perfect match. I see so much potential here, and if I compare this one to the Icelandic project, I think the potential is much more here than it was in Iceland. So,
all right, stop. First of all, coach, I think you're very, very, very off with your judgment. When you were taking this Jamaican job, we were nowhere close to being in the same realm as a challenge to take a nation to the next level. We, in terms of our professionalism, and I'm talking about starting at the top, not from the bottom, we were not ready. We are currently not even ready to be representing CONCACAF in the World Cup. We are not. The truth is just that we have players that are way better than our situation. That is just the truth. Our federation, our country, the sports in our country, the infrastructure in our country, we are not ready to make it to the World Cup. We are not ready to be one of the powerhouses in football. It's just that the players that we have, give thanks to our dual nuts and globalization, as they would say, we have players that have Jamaican heritage that are some of the best in the world. That's all it come down to, but we are not ready. So coach, me think you're off with that assessment. Also, you said that you know that there are some things to be changed, the challenges, and you have big things to change and whatever, which means that you at least did some research on the job that you're taking. Right? And people may connect this back down the line for sure that this not really make no sense. Because initially you said, you know that there are some things to be changed, you know that there are big things to be changed. And it's going to take time and whatever and whatnot. But then down the line you say, you never know, so so much things need to change. I'll get to that. But let's continue.
Really looking forward to start, have my ideas, how to be successful internationally. But of course I have to adapt to the culture here. And these will be my first one to try to learn as much as possible.
But it's a lot of things we need to improve. Not only the infrastructure here in Jamaica, but all the setup and things. And if we really do what we say or say what we do, if we want to become one of the best national teams in the world, we need to do similar things, at least get close to what the best teams are doing. So, but we need to upgrade in so many areas here, but hopefully slowly we will get there.
Yeah, in time.
But it's difficult, everything.
Again, here he's speaking about administrative issues. He's not talk about the footballers, he's not talk about recruiting players, he's not talk about the style of play, he's not talk about none of that. He's not talk about football. Again, he's talking about administrative issues, he's talking about infrastructure, he's talking about operating like a first-class nation, which we are not. You see me?
It's about budget and stuff, so but we try to do the best of what we have. So so that was the most shocking thing when I came, was kind of how much improvement is needed here to be the same level as what I'm used to, for example, in Iceland.
All right, so he said that the most striking thing, the most surprising thing is just that there was so much improvement to be done. There was so many things to change, and that's what got his attention. No, I'm not gonna blame the coach for not knowing everything, but as I say, maybe some more due diligence needed to be done. Maybe he should have done some more research in terms of finding out what he was getting himself into, because this Jamaican job is not a walk in the park, and I feel like at the end of the day it just shocked him. It was just too much to bear, and I think he would have dealt with everything except when him feel the real wrath of Jamaicans and when they start calling for your head. Because in that Liam Bailey situation, that is what happened. So I believe that the infrastructure, all of that, I believe that the coach just used the last situation and lump everything into one when he's doing these interviews with these newspapers and speaking about the professionalism here. We know Jamaica is not a top-notch professional country, period, much as to have a professional football federation. We are not. But at the end of the day, I don't think the professionalism period is what caused them to left. You see me, them that work on that is a matter of how that lack of professionalism showed itself in one situation, in the Liam Bailey situation. And coach, you did that situation wrong, and that is what caused you to leave. If you don't want to say it, me I go say it. You drive your nail in your own coffin, big man. You dig the grave for yourself, or you go lie down in there. Nobody never push you out. And the lack of professionalism, that is not exactly what got you out. If you did say the corruption, fine. If you did say that, fine. But are you dig your grave? I don't think you should be. Don't get me wrong, people. The JFF is not perfect, and the JFF has done a lot of wrong things. They have done a lot of bad things. They have not been the greatest football federation on the earth, on the face of the earth, but they are trying. Yeah, they are doing a lot of things right. They are getting a lot of people in position. I still think there are a lot of things to be done. But at the moment, I can't blame the JFF too much. Obviously, people, we've done videos before, and I did say the JFF push him out, and the JFF caused him to leave the job. And to some extent, yes. But in terms of how he dealt with the Liam Bailey situation, and people just wholeheartedly believe that, So even though nobody never said that, me I said that's why I'm leave. So me I take the professionalism out of it, me I put the corruption part in it, and say how he dealt with the situation, which caused him to face so much corruption and unprofessionalism, led to him leaving. Not necessarily them not booking things on time, or them having impromptu meetings, or them introducing people and ideas into his program. I don't think that is what led him to leave. It was just how them deal with the Liam Bailey situation. Alright, people, let's play the last video we have, and then me I will round up the video. Me I will tie up both on all right and give my thoughts and I guess the whole situation in terms of linking again the Liam Bailey situation to coach leaving. Just the final thing. And I think this I said that the first interview that he gave by suspending Liam Bailey and Javante Stewart for missing curfew was the beginning of the end for Hallgrímsson. I think this interview that I'm going to play now, that they released, was the final nail in the coffin for Coach Hallgrímsson, and I don't think he could have come back from this interview. Let's see what I talk about.
For them, it's a long shot, but we opted to put them in the squad in case we would go all the way to the end of the tournament. So it would be nice to have them to support the group in the end. And the same, we thought the same about Liam Bailey if he would want to come. And in his case, he decided not to want to play for Jamaica. That's his decision, and that's every player's right to refuse to play for the nation, and he opted to do that, not to play for Jamaica. End of story for me. Absolutely end of story. Now I would like just everyone to focus on those players that want to play for Jamaica and want to represent Jamaica, and let's put our focus.
Blah 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 blah. That interview drove the nail in the final nail in the coffin. Putting Liam Bailey in the squad when the man tell him to say he take a break from a national team drove the nail drove the final nail into the coffin of Jamaican Hallgrímsson. The figurative coffin, of course, people. Jamaican Hallgrímsson is still alive and well. But I'm speaking about what ultimately tipped the boat over the edge. What ultimately caused him to say, yo, wrap this up, me not do this no more. I feel like listing Liam Bailey in that squad caused everything for just crash and burn. Because remember, listen, Liam Bailey in the squad and then Liam Bailey coming out on social media and say, yo, nothing no go so. What that did is it showed up the coach and it showed up the federation. It took all the leverage away from the federation because now it looked like when I run back at me. And one thing the federation don't want to look like them, I run back at Liam Bailey and Craig Butler. No, the General Secretary, Mr. Chung, and the head coach, they were being mediators in terms of trying to get Liam Bailey to come back and play for them. And I think some arrangement was there that, I will come after this date, or I'm going to put a name on the squad in case you want to come. That is what the coach did, which he shouldn't have done. If a man say him don't want to play, if you never come from the start, don't come. If you're not injured or have some serious family issues to deal with, if you can't come from the start, don't come. And I feel like the coach listing Liam Bailey on it was because he was under pressure and he wanted his best player to be there because he wanted to put in a good showing in the Copa America. But because of that, somebody that said naivety and white-eyedness, the coach ended up suffering. Because subsequently, not only is he saying that Liam Bailey is no longer suspended, right? Remember, you suspended him in a match. Not only you're saying that he's no longer suspended, but the JFF now got take the power out of your hands and suspend him themselves, which they did. They get me, I say, because now the man refused the call up. So from this point forward, Coach Era is what the JFF did, what his bosses did, is saying that, Coach, you look like you know do this thing right, you know. Liam Bailey suspended, him can't play. And if you're going to step into a coach's decision-making process like that and erase Liam Bailey from even the thoughts of representing Jamaica in terms of the coach picking him, then where will you stop? What else will you then butt your heads into? What other doors will you open and say, Coach, you can't do this, oh coach, this year we have to do blah blah blah. This was an indication to Jamaican Hallgrímsson that if them man are willing to tell me who me can and can't pick based on what a man declining a call up or a man taking a break from international football or whatever, because really and truly people, why was Liam Bailey suspended? Why did Liam Bailey need to issue a letter of apology or clear the air or whatever they wanted from him? Why? The man already make it know, I am not coming to play until I feel like I am ready to play. You see me? So I believe that because of this interview and listing Liam Bailey into the squad and Liam Bailey coming and saying that I am not coming to play, I am taking my break, take me off the squad, and take all the power from the JFF and make the JFF look soft and look like them a run back and look like them need him. And I think the pride of the executives in the JFF used that to undermine the coach. Not even realize, because I don't think or maybe they did, I don't know. Maybe they knowingly undermined the coach. But whether they thought that they were doing the right thing or they were just being their usual unprofessional selves, they undermine the coach and cause the coach to feel like they're doing his job for him. Allow the coach to deal with him players, bro. Allow the coach, if a coach feel like he need to suspend a man, make the coach suspend a man. The GenSec and the whatever committee and blah blah blah. No. If you want to have a meeting about some players, you have a meeting and allow the coach to then represent the position of the JFF. But you don't come out and just suspend a player for turning down a call up or having issues with the coach or whatever. Because believe me, I'm here Hallgrímsson and the coach that have issues, not the JFF. If we really want, bring it down to the nitty-gritty. So them butting in, I believe, stripped all the power away from Hallgrímsson. And who knows some of those conversations that happened in the back, man. Who knows some of those arguments that happened in the back and that caused him to say, yo, him not come back. So all in all, yes, in some sense, I feel sorry for Hallgrímsson. He never get dealt a fair hand, but also he could have done things way better. He could have dealt with Liam Bailey's situation way better. Even though at the end of the day, he wasn't prepared for that. You know, at the end of the day, you don't see these situations happening in every national team. You don't see this situation happening in every club team, even though it happened a little bit more at the club level. You know, so he wasn't prepared to deal with this Liam Bailey situation. He wasn't prepared to deal with a man like Craig Butler. He wasn't prepared to deal with a man like Rudolph Speed and Dennis Strong. He wasn't prepared for that. He wasn't prepared to deal with the Jamaican public. He wasn't prepared to deal with the name calling. He wasn't prepared to deal with any of that. At the end of the day, he made the wrong decision. He made the wrong decision in suspending the player and publicly coming out and talking about it. Then he made the wrong decision in including the player in the squad, and then which eventually led to the JFF stripping him of his power and suspending Liam Bailey, which I think sent the message to him that he is no longer in control of his squad selection. And if you're not in control of your squad selection as a head coach, what are you in control of? Isn't it, people? So I just wanted to use this article that was released earlier in January to walk it back a little bit. Because the coach had mentioned the unprofessionalism from the start, even though I believe that he should have done a little bit more research to know what he was walking into. But even though he's mentioning the unprofessionalism, I don't think it is just plain unprofessionalism in all aspects that caused him to leave the job. I believe it's just unprofessionalism in one area, realizing that people in the JFF have vendetta for people and some players and them agents and this and that and blah. I feel like that was essentially what caused him to leave. He was not prepared for that. He was not equipped for that. And at the end of the day, he walked away from the job. Now, coach, me I gotta tell you straight up and down, I do not believe you. I believe you had your next job lined up. You knew that you were leaving this job from, I think, at least the start of June. You knew that you were leaving this job. You start take offers. That's just what me say. Obviously, there is no evidence to back this up. It's just my gut feeling. Take it as you want to take it. Well, people, let me know on the comment, on the thoughts in the comment section. Do you think that Coach Hallgrímsson had his job lined up before he left the Reggae Boys job? 1, and 2. Do you think I'm onto something? Is the Liam Bailey saga the reason, single-handed reason, the sole reason why Coach Hallgrímsson left the Jamaica job? Because that's what I believe. Or was it just our own unprofessionalism and lack of infrastructure and resources in the country that caused him to leave? Even though early out in his tenure he realized that these things were needed. Let me know in the comment section. Let me know. It's just another video. It's just another think piece from me. It's just another one from this side of Sports TV. You see me? We are trying to get more uploads. People, I'm needing for support. The thing, make sure you like the video, leave a comment. Most importantly, leave a comment. Feel like I can't have a lot to say about this. Leave a comment and subscribe to this or that Sports TV. And one more thing, and that's to share the video to at least 10 people, get to 6 subscribers. Because if each and every one of you guys can manage to do that, do you know how many subscribers that would get us by the end of the day, people? But for now, this was this or that Sports TV. I gone.